So there are a number of things that we can talk about in regards to the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid. In fact, there's an entire video to be made about Matthew Tkachuk and all the stuff that he had said about Connor in interviews, at parties, and a lot of the sentiments there can be seen as somewhat, maybe a bit embarrassing for Connor. I don't know. Poking fun at Oilers fans? I don't know. That's an entire other conversation for another day. But in this video, I wanted to dive into what Elliotte Friedman had to say about Connor McDavid on the recent 32 Thoughts podcast, because he had some really interesting quotes surrounding the Edmonton Oilers superstar, and we're going to read them all here today via an article published by Liam McCormick, Connor McDavid reportedly making one demand to Oilers management. There's a clickbaity title, I get it, but the quotes are all here, which is why I wanted to use this piece on OilersDaily.com. The article opens up by talking about how insiders are expecting that McDavid is going to stay in Edmonton, but he actually might sign a shorter-term deal. On today's edition of the 32 Thoughts podcast, NHL insider Elliotte Friedman said he believes that this was a way for McDavid to put pressure on the Oilers to aggressively contend every year. I think what McDavid is saying is, Friedman says, I'm all in every year. And everybody knows that. I need to make sure that everybody is all in every year, and I think they are. I have no doubt they are. But I think this is his way of saying, I expect the Oilers to be wired the exact same way I am. And if you look at it, they gave Skinner another shot. I don't know if they're going to bring in another goalie to go with Skinner, or if they're going to move on, but one thing I do believe is that they have to end the uncertainty. Like teams that win the Stanley Cup, you don't have as much turnover or upheaval in the way Edmonton's had the last 2 years. And I could see McDavid and the organization saying, enough of that. Now, there's a guy blowing the Leafs away outside my apartment here, so if you hear any buzzing in the background, I apologize for that. It's going to be hard for the Adobe Audition to remove that in post. But that's really interesting from Elliotte here. Speaking out about the Oilers and the uncertainty with the roster, how Connor McDavid's eager desire to win can be seen as one of the main driving forces to put Edmonton back in the driver's seat, to get some clarity on the goaltending situation, and to fully commit to a guy. And with McDavid potentially going shorter term on his contract, this could be a way for Edmonton to always be kept on their toes, because at any point, Connor could up and away decide to leave. Friedman went on to report that Evan Bouchard will be an important factor in the Oilers' future, and that also McDavid could take a shorter-term deal to put more pressure on the Oilers to compete. Friedman believes he won't take the maximum salary, but it could be as short as a 2-year deal. The maximum he can sign for, I think, is like $19 million. I don't expect him to sign for 19, Friedman said. I wonder if McDavid goes short-term. I wonder if he signs for only a couple of years. A few years. It's like Matthews. I just wonder if McDavid says this is not about me leaving Edmonton, because again, I don't think he's eager to flee there. It's about me saying, I want to be sharp every year. You know, for example, he's going to be 29 in January. What if he extends for 2 years? Oh my gosh. That is brutal, Elliotte. What a take. Connor McDavid potentially extending for only 2 years, while Leon Draisaitl got the full 8-year treatment at $14 million a year for the highest salary in the league? That would be a total gut punch if Connor only did 2 years, but it would force Edmonton to be in ultimate win-now mode, to go balls to the wall. Who cares what happens in 2030? We gotta win now! And let's face it, Connor McDavid, he's 28, he'll play for another decade. He won't leave the National Hockey League until, like, at the very least 38, 39. He's good enough that he'll be effective still into those years. He'll win a cup, right? He will win a cup, right? Even Ovi got a cup after all those years in Washington, struggling to get past the second round, but Connor McDavid, he's good enough to be a champion. He will be a champion at some point throughout his career. Whether it's in Edmonton, though, we don't know. And that's the same thing that Matthew Tkachuk said, wherever he wins a cup. But if he wants to do it in Edmonton with Draisaitl, is a 2-year contract the biggest force that puts Edmonton to put all their chips into that sort of a campaign? Let's go back over and read some more. Friedman said on 32 Thoughts this morning as well, I don't think McDavid is eager to flee Northern Alberta. He adds that McDavid wants the Oilers to be all in on winning every year, and he would like more roster certainty, like who will be in net moving forward. That is the SparkNotes version of the comments that were made over here. This article then says at the bottom there is no indication that McDavid is at all considering leaving, but it's very evident that he's frustrated they haven't won a cup. He would be within his rights to begin pressuring the organization for some real change from management to ice the NHL's best roster. As Friedman noted, it begins with an upgraded net. Oilers fans will remember Ken Holland and many past GMs saying you can't go all in every year. When you have Connor McDavid in his prime on the roster, though, you must. Even this season, the Oilers had leftover cap space after the trade deadline. Connor McDavid knows that the Oilers are right in the cusp of a cup and just lost to what may go down as one of the better teams in modern NHL history. Edmonton is still the best place for McDavid, but they need to do even more to keep him. And that's also another point to bring up as well. The Oilers were fine with their goaltending duo. Stuart Skinner, Cal Pickard, now we can have a conversation about that another day, and I think everybody has had their own 2 cents shared about that tandem throughout the past few days here, but the Oilers and Stan Bowman saying, yeah, we don't need to go get a goalie, we're good with these guys. That quote, I think, will go down in infamy as one of the worst decisions this Oilers team might have made, not necessarily because you can't believe in Stu Skinner, because that guy was able to help the Oilers make the finals last year, and so I think it's a reasonable bet to say that he could help give them reasonable support in net this year too. But having Cal Pickard as the backup, just not the right move there. There wasn't enough stability. You couldn't win with Pickard. Sure, there were moments where he looked better than Skinner, but that's a very low bar. And it's now gotten to a point where everybody's talking about, oh yeah, they need to have gotten a better goaltender. And if Connor McDavid is going out there saying, yeah, okay, I could sign short term. I'm not eager to sign here, folks. I'm not in a rush, like he had said yesterday. Make these roster moves more definite. Get a goalie. Be contending. Every single year. That's the point. I'm in my prime here, folks. Leon's in his prime. Ultimately, it does make sense, and I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Elliotte Friedman's commentary? How Connor McDavid could be in a spot to potentially demand more out of this team, and he could be going short-term. 2-year deal? Who knows? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.